Fallout continued tonight after chaos and violent protests in Chicago yesterday that forced GOP frontrunner Donald Trump to cancel the rally. With me now, Fox News contributor and author of the new book, Not All Roads Lead to Heaven, Dr. Robert Jeffress, pastor at the First Baptist Church in Dallas. Good evening, Pastor.
Good evening, Judge.
All right, Pastor, let me just quickly get your take on what's going on in American politics today as it relates to the person that you think so highly of, Donald Trump.
Well, I think, first of all, I want to say a word about what's happening tonight in Donald Trump. I think, Judge, we're seeing the hypocrisy of liberalism on display. You know, the people who cry loudest for tolerance are usually the most intolerant people when it comes to beliefs they disagree with. And liberals are always first in line to try to restrict the First Amendment rights of others. And I want to say a word about these other spineless GOP candidates. You know, instead of exploiting this situation to try to prop up their failing campaigns, what they ought to be doing is standing up and saying, you know, we may not agree with everything Trump says, we may not even like the way he says it, but we are standing in solidarity with his First Amendment rights. They won't do that because they're too weak to do that, which is why they're losing. Judge, the same people who want to restrict political speech they find offensive also want to restrict religious speech they find offensive, which should be a great concern to people of all faiths.
Well, and you know, Pastor, the whole concept of trying to shut down someone who is giving a message as if, you know, they have the right to do that is just stunning to me. But let's move on. Let's talk about Donald Trump. I mean, you obviously, I know you can't endorse him because of the 501c3, but you think highly of him. And then
I do. Ben
Carson comes out. And, you know, very religious guy, someone that people like. He's soft-spoken, he's fair. He comes out and he supports Donald Trump. Now, Ted Cruz, isn't he supposed to be the guy that people and evangelicals like? And doesn't this point to some real problem that people have with Cruz?
Well, first of all, Judge, I do think the Carson endorsement is a game changer. I mean, I think to have an intelligent, committed Christian like Ben Carson endorsing Trump gives cover to a lot of other evangelicals who would like to vote for him, but they don't want to feel like they're selling their soul to the devil to do so. And I think, Judge, you'll also find that it takes the wind out of the sails of some of these vitriolic, never-Trump people who are criticizing the HE double hockey stick out of me and other people for simply saying, you know, Donald Trump may not be the best choice for your child's Sunday school director, but he would be a great choice as president. And as far as Cruz goes, you know, I think what we're seeing right now is more than anything, Judge, people want an outsider. And Cruz, Rubio, Kasich, for all their talk of being outsiders, they're part of the political system. And I think this time around, people want somebody who doesn't look like, act like, or is a politician.
All right, Dr. Robert Jeffress, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Thanks, Judge.